I'm Colonel Vivian Hawthorne, U.S. Army retired, widow of Major General Eli Hawthorne, and apparently the last obstacle between my children and a nine-figure development deal. I've planned airdrops in 130-degree heat, evacuated hospitals under mortar fire, and buried my husband beneath the same cottonwoods they now want to bulldoze for luxury glamping pods. They assumed grief had made me soft. They were wrong. That night, I opened the old ammo crate in the attic. Inside, every survey, every easement, every love letter Eli wrote me from Kandahar. Tucked in the 1944 deed was the gem they'd never noticed. 600 acres of our north pasture had been a World War II Army artillery range, still federally encumbered. One phone call to a retired JAG colonel who owes me his life, one fax to the Department of the Interior, and the entire parcel was frozen under historic preservation before they finished their lattes the next morning. 2 weeks later, the headline hit. Decorated Colonel faces quiet coup by children over historic ranch. Veterans flooded their socials. A 4-star I once carried out of a burning Humvee called CNN himself. Harper's law firm started getting anonymous ethics complaints. Beckett's developer lost 3 investors overnight. They tried every play, tears, threats, a revised agreement that generously gave me the main bedroom back. I answered by filing the ranch into a permanent conservation trust whose sole voting member is a board of combat wounded women veterans I personally appoint. The land can never be sold, never developed, never touched, only protected. Beckett attempted a forged listing. The title company called me at dawn. I had him in handcuffs by lunch. Harper showed up with apologies and a bottle of 1972 Bordeaux. I poured it on the rosemary bush and handed her the empty bottle. Sloane came alone one rainy evening, soaked, shaking. I didn't know it would go this far, she whispered. I wrapped her in Eli's old field jacket and said, "Then help me finish it."
She did.
She testified. She handed over the texts, the secret LLC docs, the offshore accounts they'd already opened. The fallout was swift and public and final. Today, the North Wing Suite is a bunkhouse for female vets learning to ride again. The Pond Cottage is headquarters for a nonprofit that teaches teenagers how to rope, weld, and heal. My children's names are on a very short list at the front gate. Do not admit. Last night, I stood on the porch at sunset, wind whipping my silver hair like a battle flag. The ridge was on fire with gold, same as the day Eli proposed right here, in 1978. I raised a glass of well bourbon to the mountains and said out loud, "This land doesn't belong to the loudest voice in the room. It belongs to the one still standing when the talking stops." Some battles end with gunfire. Some end with a snapped pen and a woman who refuses to move. If your own kids ever hand you a contract to disappear, remember, the signature they fear most is the one you never give.